Relationships that build wealth, create opportunities, the right solutions. That's what we do at J&N Fund Managers.
We're in pursuit of your financial security.
Portfolio and investment management services for individuals and corporate clients. From wealth building and risk management to preparing for a comfortable retirement. Strong, stable, secure.
We're in pursuit of your success.
Let's talk. J&N Fund Managers, your safer, smarter financial partner.
Your goals realized begins now, and I know this is so because it's Tuesday morning, and I see the JNFM ladies with us in studios of Love 101, ready to roll out this week's program. Welcome to ladies.
Oh, good morning, Joseph.
Good
it's
morning.
so good to see our male face this morning. And good morning to Nadine, wherever she is, because I know she's also listening to us. And to our Love 101 listeners, it's always a pleasure to spend 10 minutes of your Tuesday morning with you. Haley and I have particularly been going through some interesting information as it relates to redundancy. And this morning, we're going to speak specifically on the handling of your additional voluntary contribution. That's the AVC, as we call it in the pension business. Individual retirement scheme, that's IRS, and sound advice on how we can secure the pension funds we receive from our employers in case of a redundancy exercise.
What has been positive about this exercise is that we're really all learning some general life principles as well as gaining information on how to handle ourselves should our jobs become redundant. The principle is very simple. Look for the good which can come out of disappointments and try to secure it. Some would say, try to make lemonade out of lemons.
Good one, Joseph. Good one. Sometimes there are such simple everyday sayings which we illustrate solutions to solutions that we face. And with that, I'm handing over to Haley now to share with you this morning. Over to you, Haley.
Thank you, listeners. Good morning. And wishing Nadine all the best as well. Joseph, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Your goals realized begins now, and I know this is so because it's Tuesday morning, and I see the JNFM ladies with us in studios of Love 101, ready to roll out this week's program. Welcome.
All right, so last week my colleague Stacey Ann, she took us through the steps that we recommended for persons who were facing job redundancies. Now Stacey spoke to short and long-term activities. Now Dolores and I were going to take you a bit further along the path to recovery today, and remember, we're going to be positive, proactive, and using what we've learned some weeks ago about being smart. So our actions will be specific, measurable, realistic, and time-bound. Now, we all know that pension funds are funds set aside to provide pension payments and other benefits on the retirement of a member or death of a member. And the contributions go towards a pool of funds that are set aside for the member's future benefit. Now, there are different terms that we use to refer to pension plans, but there is a distinction between an individual retirement account and a superannuation fund. Now, a superannuation fund is usually arranged or in connection with the member's employer. An individual retirement scheme, however, is established mainly by financial institutions such as JNVS, and the IRS, which is the individual retirement scheme, is for persons who are not part of an occupational plan or a formal part of formal employment, and is usually for self-employed individuals. In a superannuation fund, the maximum contribution is 10% of your gross salary, and is broken down as follows. The employer will make a contribution of 2.5% of your gross salary. You make the other 2.5%, and your additional voluntary contribution is 5%. So that will make up your total 10%. Now, with the IRS, you can contribute a little more. You can contribute between 5 to 20% of your gross salary. If you're faced with a redundancy, usually the employer's contributions are refunded, and the employee's portion, let me go again. Usually, with the employee's contributions are refunded, and the employer's portion is retained in a pension fund.
Okay, cool.
So the retained portion can be transferred to your new employment superannuation fund or into an IRS. Usually, persons normally go to sea. You know, we get this money, so we go to sea and spend with the inflow of large lump sums when pension fund contributions are refunded. Now, remember, these funds were originally intended for your retirement, so don't blow it all at once. If one needs to spend for whatever purpose, spend from the additional voluntary contribution portion. You try to preserve the balance into another pension fund or invest these funds in instruments that are geared towards your retirement. So you're not going to spend everything. And remember, you have toiled long and hard and made the additional sacrifice to set aside an additional amount to ensure your retirement is taken care of. So don't blow it all at once.
Not at once at all. So, Haley, you gave us the silver lining to the cloud of job redundancies this morning. I'm sure that persons who may be uneasy now due to the possible redundancies at their workplace can take some comfort in knowing how to proceed should it occur.
Yeah, that's so true, Joseph. And in cases of an emergency, we are often told that it's our initial responses that color what follows. And of course, it always helps us to know that the JNFM advisory team stands ready to walk with you through the process. And as we mentioned last week, JNFM also has the right connections for other assistance that you may need. So standing with us are our parent company, Jamaica National, and in addition to that, there are all our fellow subsidiaries. We could share many success stories with you listeners, but suffice it to say, should your job be declared redundant, grieve if you need to, but then move on. You can overcome the setback. Make that setback become a setup for your new success. Acting from a position of knowledge. And that's what we've shared with you over the past few weeks.
So, if by chance you heard today's program but missed the two which preceded on this subject, then simply visit our Facebook page where the programs are available at your convenience. Our website also carries an article on managing your redundancy payments.
As usual, great job, Haley.
Thank you.
And we remind HR departments that Jane Fund Managers offers at no cost consultation to your staff should you anticipate redundancies in your organization. Just contact us.
And as we mention each week, listeners can send their questions and comments by text to 877-2612. That's 877-2612. Or by email to jnfundmanagers@jnbs.com. That's jnfundmanagers@jnbs.com. Any homework, Dolores? And what's for next week?
Well, as you know, we are getting into the season of graduations. So the GSET exam would have passed, and coming up after the CSEC, we're looking at graduations in the high school. So a lot of parents are actually anticipating and planning for graduation. But have you given any serious thought to planning for tertiary education? This really can be a very daunting task if not properly planned for. So next week we're going to share with you on planning for tertiary education, some creative steps that parents can take to ensure that that stage of their child's life is run as smoothly as it can be if properly planned for. So next week is planning for tertiary education. Good morning, listeners.
That is awesome. And no longer does the dark cloud of redundancy looms over us, because we have been given this morning a silver lining by Dolores and Haley. Thank you, ladies, so much for giving our listeners hope and helping them to realize their goals. And thank you again for listening to Your Goals Realize, brought to you by the JN Fund Managers Limited. This is Love 101, your family station. It is 9 o'clock.